Hello everyone, this is Winner Guppy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the random flow add-on to create or to detail a simple base mesh, which you can quickly detail a simple base mesh, which you can use as quick asset for background renders. So it means that the object can be used on the background to create as an asset on the scene, additional asset on the scene. So in this video, we're going to make a simple truck like I posted in Twitter and Instagram. So just the basic shape, and also let's create the wheel. So we're going to use split inset in this example. Scale it on the y-axis, and let's create some wheels, draw faces, and I'm going to stick the origin point or the marker on this area here, and then draw a circle, and press Alt 2, 1 or 3. So Alt 1, so Alt 2. With Alt 2, you can set the offset in the middle of the faces, and this is Alt 1 and this is Alt 3. So we're going to use Alt 1 and then just duplicate. So we're going to, this is a real simple asset for the scene, so not too complicated, because um what we're trying for a model that's going to be rendered far away, so we just need just a bit of detail far away, or somewhat far away, and or middle ranged. So draw modifiers and thickness. There we go. Now I'm going to apply the mesh and then auto mirror to the x-axis and select this. Inset, that's I, and then extrude to the middle, and pulse wheel. So we're going to design the wheels a bit, just like that. And okay, this one, forgot about the other wheels. Okay, then we're going to create some windows on the truck. Let's just get rid of this edge first. Inset again and Alt S. Okay. Now let's reconnect the edge. I'm going to the wireframe mode and use the knife and press C to cut through and A for to snap it to the angle. There we go. And another one here. Inset. Okay. And we're going to add more edge loops. So the add-on responds better with if you have a topology that is mostly uh, composed of faces that have equal areas, and yeah, and mostly, and of course, entirely made of quads. So I think we can use this, and I'm going to select the glass, the windows, and invert so it doesn't get affected by the operation. And then I'm going to save the data. Well, I'm going to save this. Going to save this first. I'm going to save this. I used the data and then save, so I saved it using this operator here, so I can go back to it. You can see here. If I use cube, and there we go, and then just auto smooth. Okay, so that data is saved, so we can now uh detail this using plate and sets. We're going to use plate and sets. So this is destructive, unlike the other operators, which is, for example, random panels. This is non-destructive, and the result you can merge with the active object or the source object, but by default, it is non-destructive. The result will be a separate object. Plate insets, on the other hand, is destructive, and it will affect the active mesh. Just undo. So by the way, the data, this is also kept when you say Blender and exit, and when you open up the file again, you can still use the saved mesh data that the mesh data that you have saved using this operator, unless you clear it. Okay, let's use lead insets, increase subdivision. So right now we have faces that go in, or yeah, go in. This goes in and this goes out from the mesh. So we can control that using the reverse. So 100% reverse, all the faces are going in, and this is just going out from the mesh. Okay. I'm going to establish the mirror. Auto mirror X, the auto mirror, and all these other mesh operators in Creative Flow are also in Random Flow. You can see the auto mirror here. I just like to use Creative Flow because it's outside the main menu. So auto mirror X on the x-axis. Okay, and then plate insets. Increase the subdivision. So we have this. Okay, this looks like, I think I have, okay, auto smooth. Plate insets. Uh, this actually looks good. The front looks good. And also, I have not selected this. If uh because of the auto mirror function, it got unselected. Okay, but watch what happens when I select it. Select one of these, for example, and use panel insets again. The result is, you can see that the result on the entire model is quite different. So let's stick with what Lady Luck has given us, because I like the result on the front area, and let's just work. We can work separately on the other parts of the mesh. And there's the center line. I think we can get rid of it using the clip distance. Just increase it. You can see the split. Just merge, or you can use mirror. What happens when you use the toggle or just toggle this off? What happens when you toggle this off is the wait. Actually, this looks better. What happens is the mirror becomes applied, and then the applied mesh or the whole mesh, the plate instance works on that, and then at the end of the operation or the script, the mesh is mirrored again. So when you use auto mirror, sometimes you don't have to use clip center. Okay, but when you toggle this on, then you have to use this. Okay, let's see what looks better. Use mirror or not use mirror. Actually, this looks better. So this, you can see that the edges, some of the edges is split. That's either the limit to where the face island is expanding to, or you can increase the tolerance for the face island to actually wrap around the edge like that. But with this method, this can also create some distortion on some parts of the mesh that are pinched or crowded. So just be careful on increasing this too much. Let's go back to 0.5 and use this. So we can increase the plates as well here. 500 is good. Okay, let's just work on this result and add some more details. So the subdivision is also kept because, as like I've said, this is a destructive process. Okay, I'm actually working on reverse, so let's just, okay, let's work on this further. This is too small for that distance. Mark sharp. And panels, increase the panel size to 100%. 100%. So what happened there is that when you increase the panel size to 100%, it acts like panel cut, where it only cuts the faces where you mark sharp the edges. So panel cut there. And you can also replicate this process using random panels by setting the panel size to 100%. And as you can see, if I reduce it from 100%, the mark sharp edges are still cut, but the randomization is also kicking in or being combined with the manually cut edges. So 100%. And let's get rid of this sample edge here. Clear sharp. Just this one. Random panels. There we go. And wait, forgot about the random panels and merge. So it becomes merged with the, so you don't have to, after the randomization, you can still modify things. Let's cut this and press 1 for the box draw shape, and press T to activate cut through, and then space to confirm. Okay. Now we're going to set a vertex color for this, as just to act as a base diffuse for the procedural shader. And first we're going to get sharp and mark sharp. So we can use random vertex color here and use the sharp limit, black and white sharp limit. So for every face island, that is, for every set of faces that have that's enclosed with edges that are marked sharp, then it is given a given its individual color. If you need to set the color manually, you can use creative flow, vertex color, set. There's a bunch of modes here. You can mix, add, or multiply. And we're going to do that, manually do vertex color paint on the wheels. That you can also pick colors from other mesh. Oops. Pick. just like that. And then we're going to um, go to the shading. So let's give this a new material. Materials, assign vertex color material and use vertex color. Okay. And in the shader, so both the wheels and the truck are sharing the same material. The attributes. Let's disable the let's make the background of the HDRI transparent. Now I'm going to append the shader group nodes from the Grand Shader product that's available in my Blender Market and Gumroad shops. So that's Grand Shaders, and in material, Grand Shader, ground cloth, and ground. Let's use ground. Um, so I'm thinking about building this from the. Okay, let's build this from the ground up. Node tree, covering mask, edge, and quick dirt and scratches. Okay, first up, we're going to multiply some AO or ambient occlusion. Let's give a different material to the windows. Don't use vertex color and set this to dark glass. Renaming the material to truck, and next up is we're going to multiply the quick dirt. So in order to view the node, you must install the node wrangler from the add-ons. It comes bundled with Blender, or free with it comes free with Blender. So just enable it um, in the preferences in the add-on section. So when I Control Shift click on a node, I can view it. I can view its result. So when I click here, I can see its result and all the other nodes connected to it. And when I click Control Shift click on this, I can see the entire node. So the advantage of this is that Blender doesn't have to compute all the preceding nodes from this one, so it's much lighter when just previewing it and trying to edit its result. Okay, next up is the cavity. And we can also do edge mask if you want. So edge mask and scratches. So since this is going to be rendered from mid to far away ranges, maybe you can skip on the we can skip on the scratches detail. Let's set the edge mask to add. And also let's set a different shader for the wheels. Just a base shader or a simple shader. Same material. I'm going to fix the quick dirt. just to make the just to make the effects more subtle. Okay, we're going to deal with the topology later on, and I'll show you how to, since this is going to be a static model on, like I said, mid to far away areas in the render, there's no reason for this many faces, so we're going to keep it light. Actually, for the wheels, you can use I think you can use much less edge loops that I'm using now. Actually, let's try and let's see if this works. So select edge loops and Control X. There we go. I think you can go lower than that. Edge loops, Control X. So you can find the select the this is actually my quick favorites and the list of the commands I mostly work with. So you can find this in the in edit mode in select and loops, and you can find it here. And the other content of my quick favorites, flatten, relax, space, and circle is from the Loop Tools add-on, also free and comes with Blender. Non-manifold, loose geometry, and the rest is You can find it here, either in the mesh or in select. Okay, so we made the wheel slider lighter, and we're going to add some lights on this. So I'm going to use the node that I'm going to use is from the random starship product, random starships or starship. There's a node here that creates the light. So lights, and set it here. Emission strength to 5. And to, I'm going to preview its result. So the outer scale is what you're seeing there. The big areas is the outer scale, and the tiny lights inside those big areas are the inner scale. So what I'm going to do here is just adjust the scale until it looks right. So, I think this operates on UV, so we're just going to smart UV project. Also this one. Oh, not this one. We're going to negate, remove the lights from the wheels area. And to randomize the position of the lights, I'm going to affect the offset property. Okay, I can work with that. So just a simple arrangement, not too much. There we go. Okay, so I wonder if Okay, it's still the same. So topology, um, I guess you'd want the mirror to be applied as well. So let's apply the mirror, or maybe, yeah. So to clean this out, since this is just going to be a static object on the background, you can select everything and then limit dissolve this X and limited dissolve, and then you can see that most of the quad faces have been destroyed, but you end up with this ingon faces. So it doesn't really matter because it's just going to be a static object in the background. And also, if you want to triangulate this, select it again, and then it's Control T. If you want to get rid of the triangulation, just limit dissolve it again. So okay, so I added in triangulation, so it doesn't really matter if I add a triangulation or not. When you render this, it's going to be rendered. The render engine is going to render this as if it is triangulated. So it's going to render it like that. So whether or not you triangulate it, it doesn't really matter. So, but if you want to UV this, then you can use the Smart UV project. Okay, and go to UV editor and then mark seams from islands. Then you can use this. Let me just so you can use this as a starting point to actually uh UV the truck. All you need to do is add or remove um uh, the seams that have been created using the Smart UV project. Okay, clear seam, and then we can combine these two actually. That's really, there we go. So it's now a single unit, and you can create like you can use the method I've showed you to create like 5 or 10 tracks, and then save it on your asset browser folder, so you can call it anytime. So user library, I mean, yeah. So you assign the preferences. You can assign a folder for the asset browser, and then you simply just need to save this file or blend file on that folder, and then when you open up asset browser and click user library, then you can see the models inside those uh, the blend files inside those folder, and then you can just drag and drop. And a good thing about this is the shader that you made inside those files are also kept. So this is from my product, which is the cylinder cylinder volume 1, and you can see that the shaders are also kept. So when you have like this file, when you drag it to your scene, then the shader that it is using are also inherited to that scene. So you can just and in order to make things less confusing, so select, just rename those uh properly name those materials and also your meshes. So this is the wheels, and in the outliner, this cube is the, for example, truck 01. Okay, and now you can use this to drag and drop from the asset browser. the lights get affected because of the I have destroyed the mirror. So let's reestablish the mirror. It's okay if you are using a mirror modifier in the asset browser. So this will also get inherited when you drag it from the asset browser. This will only be disturbed if you can move it around, and the symmetry doesn't get affected because the symmetry is in the local axis, which means that that's the 3D space inside the mesh or the model. It will only get affected if you transform anything in edit mode. But in object mode, you can rotate it, grab it, scale it, and it stays the same. So median point, why is the median? Okay, there we go. Let's see the lights. Okay, so it's still acceptable. So now you have your, how many faces does it have? So 1, 5 triangles is 2K. So for this detail, I think it's okay. I think we can go farther with the wheels. Let's try with this area here and select loops, Control X. Yeah, no. I mean, but in this distance, I think it still looks round. But yeah, I'll stick to the original. There we go. So it's lighter, but it looks rounder. And it looks legit too. You can also render it close up. And if you have any overpaint skills, this will also be beneficial to you because of the you can paint over this truck in the renders. Okay, so that's how you create those details and use the object. You turn a simple base mesh into a detailed model that you can use in the asset browser, the asset library. So you can inspect it at any angle and in the distance, in any particular distance. Just to see if it looks legit on any angle and on any render distance. Okay, so um, that's the plate insets. So you can also use random panels for it, but the advantage of using the destructive operator like plate inset is that the uh, the extrusions can go inside, or you have indent details. Unlike random panels, the random panels only does extrusions that comes uh, that juts out from the mesh because by default this is a non-destructive modifier, and if it creates indent details, then it will of course show what's underneath. So for example, if I create random panels here and use radial, for example, you can see that it can only extrude from the mesh, not into the mesh. Okay. But if it, for example, oh, I've set it to merge. Don't use merge. So, for example, if this acts like plate insets and this, for example, goes into the mesh, you can see that it's not applicable because the mesh is underneath and that detail gets swallowed up. So that's why um, sometimes plate inset is better because it affects the original mesh and it can do reverse inset like that and create some uh, details that are only available to it by using it. So you can see this is destructive. Okay, I guess we can triangulate the wheels too. You can get rid of it you're just using Alt J. Okay, actually this looks better. Instead of full triangulation. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you triangulate it. Um, if it's not triangulated, it will in the render it will actually look like this in the render. Okay, so that's it, and I hope you liked this video and learned something new with the add-on. Uh, if you have any questions, I use the comment sections below or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.